Ba-bum.
Welcome to the Chromaniacs post-match victory edition. What's happening, everybody? Live on YouTube on a Saturday night and coming into your earlobes whenever you decide to press play. It's Craig Elston, Tony Sanchez, Alex Pena together for our first official post-match edition of Chromaniacs as SDFC emerges from the Windy City with Italian beef for the entire plane ride on the way back. 2-1. Los Cremados escape from Chicago Fire and get out of Soldier Field with all 3 points. Gentlemen, it's a great night to be a Chromaniac. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good here. Very, very virtually. Not in the garage, as you can tell. Maybe you can't tell. But here we are. Good victory away and coming back home. Reset in a lot of senses for SDFC. Alex.
Yeah, I hope they're playing a little Chicago on that plane ride home. A little Saturday in the park. I think it was the 12th of July that SanDiego.FC gets the win over the Chicago Fire. Right, Craig?
Very good. Wow. I think it was the 12th of July. This team keeps on winning. We're going to get into it all. We're going to break down this match from start to finish. And then we'll take a quick look ahead because by the time we have our next Chromaniacs, we'll have another post-match because we'll be seeing Toronto in Wednesday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Great to have the live crowd there, too. Keep the comments coming. We'll keep them rolling through. Really happy to have anybody here joining us, exulting in 3 more road points. That's just where I have to start. This is an expansion team cobbled together, going into MLS venues that they've never been before. Long flight. We all know the San Diego to Chicago flight. That's a long flight. It's a tough situation. Guys, why does SDFC make this look so easy? Why are they playing so well on the road?
I think Honor said it too in the post-match on Apple TV. He's like, for some reason, we seem to play more freely on the road than at home. And we can definitely tell that in a lot of different ways too. You can see that there's a level of comfortability being the oppressor at home, where usually away teams are fighting for a tie. Not necessarily San Diego FC. They go in and they go for the win.
Yeah, they get a result. It's either a win or a draw, or win or loss. And so far, we have now 21 points on the road, and that's really good for an expansion club and a club that's always looking for that win on the road. So they're not going for draws. They're really going after the win, and that's really great to see early on.
Well, let's get into it all. I'm super psyched tonight, by the way, for San Diego Sports. Padres got a huge win over the Phillies. SDFC pulls out 3 points on the road in Chicago. The Wave didn't matter, so that doesn't matter. But they played. It was great to see all the Wave fans out at Torero Stadium. That's why I've got the Wave outfit on today as I came fresh from work to check this one out. Let's dig in. Let's get rolling. Great first half for San Diego FC. Tremendous first half for San Diego FC, and a second half that I'm between the way the Padres play nothing but one-run games and these second halves for SDFC. I'm starting to think about taking up smoking.
Power. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it seemed like, starting off with the lineup, we saw some changes there, right? We saw Sisniega come in for CJ Dos Santos, and Valakari was in for Godoy. Thomas Angel was in for Milan Iloski, that we thought was a starting, player, a mainstay for that position, and I gave it a little bit of thought after my initial text. It's like, well, maybe, you're giving some guys some rest because, you have a game coming up on Wednesday. You have another game on Saturday. Maybe this is probably a good time to to get some other guys rotated in. And it was interesting to see Sisniega out there, because it kind of seemed like Chicago was really bringing the heat, the fire, right, up front and with the press. And that's how this game started, right, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see Cisnero getting in there with some meaningful minutes. Last time he was suited in the San Diego Chrome Azul, it was against America, and just teenagers. Not that SDFC doesn't have their teenagers of their own, which I'll get into, because let me tell you, that back line, Verhoeven and Bombino, played an excellent match, and Ian Pilcher also getting in there, subbed in the second half. Like, it can't be understated how these victories are happening on the road with such a quote inexperienced lineup. These are children too, like they're literal children. So it's incredible to see Cisnega be able to come in. And I'll be honest, like Pablo Cisnega for me is more of my style of goalkeeper, because he's more of a pure goalkeeper. CJ Dos Santos is almost like a 2.0 version of it, where the modern game dictates that the goalkeeper has to be a little bit better with their legs and with the ball on their feet. Cisnega is just a baller. He's a shot stopper, and you can tell early in that match there was a breakdown on the right hand side, and then an incredible reaction save by Pablo Sisniega.
Absolutely electric. And before we even go from start to finish, let me ask a question, because I think it's going to spark the conversation. Who's your man of the match? SDFC 2, Chicago Fire 1. Give me a man of the match, each one of you, and I'll give you mine.
I had Bombino. I really like the way Bombino played. Just running up and down, and just being very vertical, and still making sure that this defensive tasks were met at all times. And that left hand side really was locked down, and you can see him just every single time that he needed to come down with the sprint. He just put his head down and made sure he was there where he needed to be. And you saw him come out later for Negri, but that's just a reflection of just the amount of exhaustion that Bombino had. And look, he got on the assist stat line, and he's making sure to make a big comeback after the last week's match against Houston.
I'm going with Dreyer here. I mean, you score a brace, and that's the X factor of the game right there. And again, the first goal was just absolutely brilliant. Just the patience he had, and then the second, again, being at the right place at the right time too. It just he really does just carry this team, and it shows in his goal contributions. It's pretty much each week now. He's either a goal or assist, or it's two assists or 2 goals. It just each week he's putting up numbers, and that's what we see out of Anders Dreyer now, and it's great to see. I mean, especially when we want to put him next to Lionel Messi in the MVP conversation, and there's still a lot of season to go, and I'm glad that he keeps posting each week, and it's still creating that conversation that, hey, he deserves to be here. He deserves to be in that MVP conversation, and just keep it up, Dryers.
Tony, great analysis. Bombino had a tremendous game. Alex, take the chalk pick. It's the right pick. Everyone agrees. The chat agrees. You guys are great. Welcome into the Hot Take Express over here. All right. Pablo Sisniega is my man of the match, and I'll tell you why. Right at the start, right at the jump, you're on the road. You're on the road. You're a young team on the road. Giveaway inside the 18. Rip shot. Sisniega has to cover 2/3 of the net, racing for the diving one-handed stop right here. Oops. That's a goal. That's a goal, folks. That's 4th minute. That's 1-0. Sisniega makes the save of the year. Just makes an absolute beauty. And he was far, from done, because in the second half, Chicago brought the fire for the entire half. And he made the aggressive play, charging the line of the 18 to take the ball away at a moment, the exact play that didn't go right with Dos Santos, and not the exact same scenario. It's not a perfect 1-for-1, but made that aggressive play. And his reaction save late in the second half, point blank, indoor soccer brilliance right there. That's a Boris Pardo, Chris Toth type, superstar goal stop right there. And the goal conceded, he did everything that he possibly could on that play. I thought Sisniega was absolutely outstanding, and I think that SDFC gets no more than 1 point if they don't have the performance by Sisniega, and that's why he's my man of the match. There it is. Look at that. That's brilliance right there. And he was right up for the rebound just in case.
What I love about that save is that you can see that there's definitely a hole in that defense, right? Let's see right here. That gets filled with Pablo Sisniega's presence. He has his eyes on the ball, but at no point is he out of position to be able to react to whichever way that ball is going to go. He's perfectly in the middle. He can go left, he can go right. Fortunately for him, it's right at him. It's not an easy save for by any means, but if you just look at the direction that he's looking in, that empty space is filled out by that cone, that a vision of his. So he's going to be able to really react well to that. So positioning, not just the instinct to just pounce on it and react with the quick reflexes, but just that positioning and know-how to know that that's the position where he's going to be the best, have the best chance to make a stop. And that's exactly what he does. Just right at him. Cool. Come on back. Let's go. Just in case. Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, that's my man of the match. That's all I'm saying. We'll talk a little more about the keeper, but hey, there's plenty of love to go around, and it's great to have a situation where we have some love to share around. By the way, I see Affy619 in the chat who says the star is from the flag, Craig, and that is definitely a reference to Chromaniacs 7 when I was making fun of the Chicago Fire logo. Thank you. My provincialism has been coming out over the last couple of episodes of the Chromaniacs. Look at me, this slick SanDiegan over here, just trying to get his mic levels right. Like I should worry about that and not worry about stars on flags. Anyways, it still looks like it could be the Red Stars logo. Man of the match discussion aside, we can continue forward. And hey, 2 Lucas, 1 goal for 1-0, because Luca Bambino gets the assist. At first, when I watched it, even the second time I watched it, I thought, did Lozano get a back heel touch on that cross to Dreyer? But the answer was no. It was more of a dummy than anything else, which gave Dreyer the ability to take 2 touches to score. A lot of times when you take 2 touches on a play like this, that second touch is going to get blocked no matter how strong the shot is. But De La Torre's hold-up play to get the ball to Bambino on the circle route there, the overlapping run, that was tremendous. Great to see Luca back in the lineup, and De La Torre gets the hockey assist, the secondary assist right there.
Yeah, it was great play. Well, oh man, it seemed like when Chicago, is also trying to press you. You just go back to them and you press them, and they were trying to get the ball out and do the type of play that we do. And that's the thing. We were so familiar with that style of play, it wasn't going to work. And then we just get the ball and just pass it around, and it goes from Luca to Luca, out to Dreyer, and I just love the finish so much that you could just see, like, he's not trying to kick it right away. He takes a touch and then finishes it off, and it's just brilliant by Dreyer, and it's just so great to have him there in that spot.
Again, my favorite part of this goal is Bombino once again, because that cross in, it's almost like it looks, yeah, it's deliberate. It's exactly what it's supposed to. It's not necessarily designed to go through so many legs, but it's a changeup of a cross where it's not full power. He hits the top of the ball, so it just stays on the floor, and that's almost counterintuitive to what you want because you almost want to create the a chaos with a strong cross. It's delayed a little bit, and that's what tricks everybody. Where it should be run, I should be able to meet it as a defender, but it's behind me because of that pace. And so I also like that Tomas Angel, which is kind of there like, hey, I could have done that, but Dreyer was like, nope, I got it for us, no worries.
Absolutely. Just really, really impressive start to that. And how close to offside? I mean, really, both of San Diego FC's goals were on the razor's edge tonight, I thought.
Yeah.
It's those small margins that, at the end of the day, you get a 2-1 victory, the smallest of margins. But I think it's in those moments that San Diego FC is really excelling, and it takes those games for a real true competitor in the playoffs to come to fruition. You have to be able to be good in the details, and SDFC is definitely taking that step back from last week and come back and reset with their style.
Let's move to goal number 2, Alex, which was holy cow. I mean, talk about a thing of beauty. The go-ahead pass, in hockey you call it the headman pass by Bombino, setting up the 2v1, but the synchronicity of Dreyer and Lozano to match one another's pace, going down the field with the ball control as a part of it, the Bombino steal, the Bombino pass ahead. Now, these two guys have to be in perfect synchronicity and not be offside. And they accomplish both. And that one touch right there from Dreyer, that is MVP stuff.
Yeah, when you go box to box like that and you're stretching out the defense, you got to have some really inept players that they know where to be. They know how to stretch the field like that. And Chucky was right on it. Once that pass came through, once Bobino beat his guy, and he was getting ready for that pass to launch it out there and out in space, and Chucky just took off running. Like he was on it. And then in Dreyer, I think Dreyer was seeing the same thing. They were just in sync. They were just like, okay, Chuki's gonna go get the ball. I got to be in the right spot. And again, he was, and that helped us, be up, in the first half, 2-0 against the Fire.
It's that gear that both of those players can get to, right? Chucky Lozano making that run, and you just have the confidence of like he's gonna get it to Dreyer. Like whether or not Dreyer finishes, whether or not a defender makes a good play, Chucky Lozano 9 out of 10 times does those small but incredible passes and little details very well. So again, we're starting to see this link up play between a healthy Chucky and a healthy Anders Dreyer. So what if we get some proliferance in the center forward position? Again, we still haven't seen the best, I think, of SDFC.
Yes. But now that we're really looking at it and looking at the substitution patterns of the match, we just agree that Iloski's going to play Wednesday and next Saturday, right? And this was a rest rotation. Give Angel a chance. Angel has played pretty well. Give him that opportunity. Didn't really do as much with it, maybe, as Iloski might have. But you don't have to have all three. You can have these two guys and have them play off one another, and that's an MVP level combination. Chucky Lozano was so dynamite tonight, guys. I mean, he's just his speed, his ability to take someone on 1v1, and the smoothness is what really impresses me about Chucky Lozano. He has the ability to make quick touches in tight spaces, to be explosive, and to be creative all at once. Here's another chance he makes for himself to the left foot. Good save. I mean, he's going short post there. I think he dribbled himself into fewer choices, right? In that circumstance, but nonetheless, Lozano, terrific, trending toward 90 minutes, probably next week at some point. And what we still, it almost feels like we've still never seen it all, as you said, Tony, the Death Star fully operational. And maybe that's coming later this week.
Does that fully formed Death Star? Sorry, Alex. Does it start with a CJ Dos Santos or Pablo Sisniega though?
the quarterback controversy here. We still haven't seen the full squad yet, and that's the thing. That's the most exciting thing. It's like, when are we going to see like a full 90 from everybody, and it's all firing on all cylinders, because when you have Angel in there in the front, he has certain skills, and I think he's just better off. He's just better off coming in late, and be that late substitute when you kind of need another goal. We've seen Valakari there. He's much more of a bigger man that, he can try to win those aerial duels when you need him to. And then Iloski just has that presence to just fire like from anywhere. He can come in, be that speed demon, and fire, from anywhere. He can score from anywhere, and it's going to be fun to see like all three of them playing a full 90, between Lozano, Iloski, and Dreyer.
In the chat, Alejandro is saying that Mike Ibarra said that he didn't play Iloski to prioritize players that are staying because there's no loan agreement. Is that something that happened in post-match tonight? Because I haven't seen any of the post-match commentary.
Yeah, actually, good old Alejandro El Chivo Villaseñor in the comments here, part of that post match, and yeah, actually, trust me, it's like if I came up to you like, "Hey, I'm Jose." Don't worry, Craig. But no,
Who is
that's
Alejandro? Chiva, name yourself.
But yeah, that was actually a comment that Mike Ibarra said post match, and I mean, whether or not you want to go ahead and take that with a grain of salt, or as you may, but that was what he said. It's very simple. His loan is expiring at the end of July, and we haven't come to an agreement yet for him to stay. I decided to prioritize the players that are here for the rest of the season. So, so there you go.
WTF? First of all, it's still July.
Yeah.
There's lots of games before July's over.
Very true.
Is this a message from Mikey to Tyler? Is this just being honest to a fault? I mean, Mike Schilt would never. But is this honesty to a fault? Is Iloski? Jeremy just asked in the chat, hey, 10 goals in a hot minute. Has Milan Iloski asked for the sun and the moon and the stars to the point that Tyler Heaps feels it's going to injure his ability to add to the club at the transfer window, et cetera, et cetera? What I do know is that when I visited 18 Threads on Thursday, his jersey was hanging up. So if this is something that leads to the coach saying that, is this a very new development? Is this today that this is an issue? Okay, is it a Northland? Hang on. If we get screwed in a negotiation with FC Northland,
our sister club, by the way.
Well, that would be the big sister club.
Yeah, big sister club.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we know who's the older sister. I get it, but wow, Chiva. Huge. This is just throwing a spanner in the works. This was going to be a very, very happy post-match show. Don't you lose your Iloski to your own sis. This can't happen.
Yeah. Is this a Tyler Heaps telling Mikey about us? Hey, like, let's put the governor on him a little bit, because he's starting to rack it up. And I mean, what would have happened had he started here? I really do think Iloski would have gotten a goal or two here, and this is again the commentary on where Tomas Angel is in his development, and there's times where he's kind of floating onto the left side, and when he does those runs that Iloski's done very well and run it exactly where Dreyer or Chucky is going to go ahead and have the ball for him, it's almost like Tomas Angel decides to cover himself and mark himself and just start to run into Chucky or run into Dreyer and not run into that space. And so it's those little moments where I'm just like, Iloski would have made that run, would have made that diagonal look. He would have had that pace and really have him beat on there. Again, Tomas Angel isn't the worst. He's actually been coming up and doing much better. But yeah, and for Chio, we were both in the post-match press conference, and he had asked me like, "Hey, I'm going to ask this." I'm like, I think that's like question 4. Like you can't come out with like, "Hey, Mikey, blah 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 blah." Like, what about this? Like, and yeah, we had a good post match, and he asked that, and actually netted the best response because of it. Because yeah, I think Mikey is very honest with his takes. Earlier in the season, he actually said, I actually asked him, "Hey, are you planning to have Milan Iloski here?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, 100%. We're making plans and we're keeping plans for Milan Iloski for the rest of the season." So honestly, to a fault maybe, but I'll take it. I'll take whatever's coming in, but Milanowski has to stay.
Yeah, what's holding this up? Like a condo in downtown or something? Like what is he asking for? Like just I would say like get Manny on the phone and he'll make it happen for you. He'll make the bachelor pad happen, and it's all gonna work out, Milan. Just stay home. We need you here because going back to Denmark, that's a rough one. It's cold in the winters. You're not going to have 70 degrees and sunny vibes here, like you do in Escondido. So come on, just stay on and keep scoring some goals for us.
So you're suggesting that Manny Machado kicked Dylan Cease out of the guest house? It's John Musgrove that actually has
Dylan Cease is not going to stay here.
Right? Yeah. Talk about a player on loan that you shouldn't fall in love with.
Send Cease to FC Norseman. See how he'll fare.
Yeah. No. I look. Bottom line, SDFC cannot let Milan Iloski go. So what that sounds like to me, just processing all of the information. Thank you, Chiva. Still misnamed in our chat. Processing this all, what this says to me is that too many people have said the sentence I just said. SDFC cannot let Milan Iloski go. And Norseland is one of the folks who heard that and said, "Oh, really? Well, then, how about it?" So does Mohammed Mansour have to get involved? Can't he tell all the sisters to stop fighting and get in line? Like, where do we need to go up the chain to get this sorted? Because Iloski going back to Norway is a loss for the Right to Dream organization. It's a failure organizationally if this doesn't happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that this is some sort of nonsense. Denmark, sorry. But speaking extemporaneously. But I'm assuming this is some sort of nonsense and that it isn't real, that it's some sort of negotiating. But why put SDFC's points at risk between here and there? Iloski should have been in the match.
Or again, just another tactic of like, hey, Iloski, you're great and all, and you're asking for this, but we just got 3 points anyway without you. So we can get this done. So let's be more house friendly. Let's go ahead and, hometown discount. We know all this. Is this really sustainable, Milan? Did you really think you're going to be doing this? You're not even an all-star, Milan. So come on.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the second half. Pilcher for McNair to start the second half. Is that just a conditioning return from injury situation there?
Yeah, correct. Patty still's nursing that injury. that he had earlier in the year, actually, that he aggravated over in Northern Ireland, and he's still coming back, limited to 45 minutes, and that's going to keep climbing as it goes.
Fair enough. Left you with a back four that, feels a little like a roll of the dice. And honestly, I thought the second half, Chicago just pretty much had the front foot the entire way. And, we talked about the point blank save. There it is again. The corner goal is well struck in the 86th minute, but there were plenty of other chances. There were other opportunities along the way for Chicago Fire if they had gotten some balls down, including in the 97th minute. That header down was an outstanding opportunity to score. Just you got to get your head over the ball instead of getting back and having it fire high. Honestly, the Fire probably kicking themselves in the locker room that they didn't get at least one out of this.
Yeah, they just couldn't finish their opportunities, and lucky for us, really. They dominated. Well, it was close to 50-50 possession when it came to the second half, but their expected goals was 1.14, and for us it was only like 0.13. And yeah, they had 12 shots total, 3 shots on target, and 3 big chances, and they only took advantage of one, and that was lucky for us. I mean, we kind of, it was good that Sisniega made those saves. It was good that we played some pretty moderate defense, and we kind of got away with one. But yeah, these second halves are starting to worry me a little bit when it since last week, and it's especially when you're putting in a Peltry out there for relief for McNair.
Who else do you have? Because I mean,
Yeah.
looking down that depth chart, it's not pretty whatsoever. And I was sharing with you guys just like my concerns with just redlining these players, right? And it's you have this vehicle SDFC. It's a really cool, awesome stick shift in first gear, second gear, third gear. But once you're going up in those revolutions and you're still kicking and cranking it, and they're going all they can, that car is going to give out at some point. And Luca Bobino comes out. He had been nursing with an injury. He's been dealing with an injury the past couple of weeks, so that's why his performance last week made sense. He comes in, bounces back, but it's just the output of energy, and it's not going to get any slower for these players. So SDFC definitely need to start bolstering that midfield, that defense, and just get players in the building at this point. That's something that needs to happen. Players need to happen. Look, Craig, you went to a Wave game today. Yeah, it was friendly, but there's something called the international replacement players. Is that a mechanic? Because SDFC doesn't have a MLS2 team. There's no MLS Next Pro. There's nothing.
Right.
So what's happening?
Is that something they're going to build in future seasons?
Yeah. So the plan is for Right to Dream to have their team essentially be a travel team that does the work of being a two team. However, there are mechanics to have local teams be some sort of feeder team as well. I know City SC in the UPSL locally was one team that was looked at. There's a couple of other teams that were looked at, but there's not officially just word of what's going to happen in terms of that feeder team, because you can wait for these 15-year-olds, but you're going to have to wait for 2 years for one to really just start you blossoming into what you want.
Well, the only other real second half note I had was questioning why Boateng came in instead of Iloski, but now we know, so we don't have to worry about that part any longer. Free Milan Iloski, guys, get this sorted. Like,
could you imagine?
I hate this. I can't believe after a great win we have this commentary about, I have to focus on the players who's staying. That feels disingenuous. I don't think Mikey Vares believes that. I don't think that feels like the first disingenuous thing I've ever heard him say.
I would have rather him say, "Hey, look, he needs some rest. We're going to deploy him on Wednesday, and had we needed him in the second half, we would have let him go, and let him get out there." But no, that's not the response I was expecting. To be completely honest.
George asks, are we going to sell SDFC sign Iloski shirts? We're not quite that craven yet, George. But give us a few months to really get the machine up and running, and maybe we'll be ready to pop that out like breaking tea would the next day and just have it ready to roll. But yes, sign Iloski. Do you need me to promise to go buy an Iloski jersey or something? Like, what do we need, SDFC? Do we need a cash infusion here? Do we need enough fans to promise that they'll buy a 32 if you keep the kid for the rest of the year? You know, seriously, I'd like to see this thing get resolved. Now, with that, I'm just not going to keep beating the dead horse. This is a one-night thing. Maybe Wednesday we're laughing and scratching, Iloski scoring 3, and we all think it's really funny. Today in MLS, Minnesota thumped San Jose 4-1. However, Vancouver got thumped by Colorado 3-0. Late score saw LAFC come up with a dub over FC Dallas, which, boy, Texas just taking another L to California. You just hate to see it. You really do. But as a result, guys, 42 points. Alex, 13 wins, 4 away, and 2 points clear of the Loons to stay first in the West.
Yeah, and I think we should start counting down how many wins we need to clear before we get the win total for an expansion club, which is 4. We need 4 left, and to get the points total, we need 15. And if we get 5 more wins, we can get that. So, yeah, it's we're closing in on a wild card spot. And I was actually looking at the Houston Dynamo and where they're at, because I think they're like a 4-game gap between us. Like they need they need 16 points. So that's over a 5-game gap. So like, pretty much by the start of September, I think if we keep bridging that gap and it gets wider and wider between us and the outside team, outside the wild card, we're clinching a wild card spot pretty soon. I mean, in a matter of a couple months. So it's exciting. We keep getting wins, we keep getting 3 points, and I mean the countdown is on for me.
With this result, they actually break the record for most points through 20 games for an expansion team. So that's, just positive trending tracking. If you're data driven, that's, the arrow is heading the right direction for you, and for San Diego FC. And again, like, this is, regardless of what you may take of San Diego FC's season and how good or great it may be, it's impressive. Just again, the level of ambition that San Diego FC had to begin the year, to really say, hey, we're going to stick to this. They did have a head start by having a playbook, just copy pasted almost, and just a lot of blueprints for an expansion team that other teams didn't have. But regardless of that, the execution of it has been impressive. And again, for a first-time coach in Mikey Varas, like literally, he's never coached adults outside of the 2 hours he had as an interim U.S. men's national team. He's never coached adults, and arguably still, for the majority part, look at his backline, still hasn't. But he's doing a wonderful job, and again, that team is incredible. Not just him, but his coaching staff, and it goes through this entire soccer ops that they have going. So kudos to them, and we'll see. I see already Toronto, easy win. It's not like MLS is just so wonky. Like I can't get a hold on it. And that's what I kind of like about it, but don't like it. It is unpredictable.
Absolutely. And, having said that, SDFC is a dynamite team. So I'm going to just go ahead and light a candle after the show's over that all of this rhetoric after the match is nothing but that, palabras, nothing more, and that Iloski is going to start on Wednesday, and that this team's going to continue to have this dynamic sun run. Couple of the comments, and it's absolutely true. It's a true 1-point deficit right now for the Supporter Shield. There's no games in hand. Philadelphia has played 22 with 43 points. SDFC has played 22 with 42 points. I mean, are you kidding me? I don't even want to go there. Too early. It's like talking about the Dodgers in the division. You know what I mean, Alex? It's like talking about the Dodgers in the division. Wait till the last week.
Yeah.
I'll worry about it then.
And it's super close, right? It's just one point difference, right? It's we're not going to know until like maybe the final week of the season. And that I think that's what's going to make it all interesting. For those that don't know, it's what they call the final game of the season is called Decision Day. That's when wild card teams are made. That's when positioning's made for the playoffs, and that's when you know pretty much who wins the Supporter Shield. So that's going to be exciting. That if we're in it for like the final week of the season, we have something to play for against the Portland Timbers. That's going to be so fun.
Yeah. By the way, Tony, today Toronto drew at home against Atlanta, conceding in the 101st minute to drop 2 points, 90 plus 11 for the goal by Emmanuel Latte-Lath for a 1-1 draw. So, not coming in with wind at their sails, so to speak. And to me, that just says SDFC, focus, play the match that you need to play. Don't get caught up in any nonsense. And the road should be in front of you, because that's how I felt about Chicago Fire, to be honest. A team that showed a lot of promise on attack, I thought, today. A team that I thought looked pretty decent overall. But SDFC had their moments of brilliance, and they had the man of the match, Pablo Sisniega, come up with gigantic saves. And they pull 3 more points out on the road to keep this sun run going and keep us feeling like our hearts are going to be full for SDFC throughout the summer.
It's incredible. And also just to know, and this is something I forgot to ask Mikey Vadas post match, and hopefully I can get him in the midweek meet availability, is 24 minutes of added time in the last 2 games. 17 minutes against Houston, 7 minutes against Chicago. Doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're measuring and just have the exact number of minutes that a player can be on the pitch safely for his health, look at Patty McNair, these numbers start adding up and they matter. And so I'm really curious to see just if that has had any effect, or what the long-term effect of that can be, because that's essentially just an extra half that SDFC has now taken on in the last 2 games. And some may say unnecessary, but it's just a nice little stat just to kind of look at.
All right. Any final thoughts on this post-match edition? Chromaniacs program 2-1 win in Chicago. Toronto coming up quick. We'll be back Thursday to talk about it all, to break it all down for you, to get ready for next Saturday's match as well. I just think it's a great time to be a soccer fan in San Diego. You got a MLS franchise and an NWSL franchise that are both, good-hearted and doing the right thing and bringing in the right players, playing an exciting attacking style. Who could have thought that we would have this much fun? 2 goals, 3 goals, all the time happening. It's a beautiful time to be a San Diego sports fan. It's a beautiful time to be a San Diego soccer fan. I kind of think it's a beautiful time to be starting a San Diego FC podcast. So I'm really happy to be with you 2 guys and on this road. And I'm really thankful for the dozens of folks that have been watching us live on YouTube, and for everybody who listens and watches after the fact. as well, because exactly, erratic genius. Who would look at us? Who would have thought? Not me.
Yeah, it's like same for me. I mean, it's great to pick up 3 points on the road again and on to Toronto. And that should be a good matchup. And with a team that's, lower on the Eastern Conference. They don't score a lot of goals, and we do. And hopefully that's going to be another 3 points at home. So I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting again. These Canadian teams, and to see if there's any such thing as a trap game in MLS, because trap games that are supposed to happen don't happen, and then boom, out of nowhere, Houston takes a win at home for SDFC. But we'll see what they have, and I'm also excited to share the post-match sound from Mikey Varas, from Luca Bombino, and from Pablo Sisniega, your man of the match, Craig. And you can also hear Mikey Varas say it from his mouth too. Yeah. He didn't play.
Can I skip that part? I'm already mad. Can I skip that part?
We are leading with that on 2 balls and a mic on Monday.
I know you are. And that's a great way to wrap things up with a couple of teases. Make sure that you're at SanDiego.Futbol to check out Chiva, also known as Alejandro, as well as Tony and Abe for the latest edition of 2 Balls and a Mic coming up Monday at 8 o'clock Pacific time. Follow them at SanDiego.Futbol on Blue Sky, and if you still use that other stupid website, you can do it there too, but I'm not going to even mention them anymore. It's straight basura. And thank you for being here. Please, if you can, hit that thumbs up on the broadcast. Click subscribe if you have not to this point. Tell a friend that is a SDFC fan that there's a cool show that you like. And for our audio listeners, that 5-star review, that kind review, super, super helpful for a young show like ours. So please rate and review, like and subscribe, and return on Thursday for another edition of the Chromaniacs. For Tony Sanchez, Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Vamos, SDFC.